Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The September 19th, 2022 legislative session of the Anne Arundel County Council is called to order. Please silence all electronic devices at this time. Please pause for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Mr. Pruski this evening.
Thank you. If everyone could just please stand for a reflection. As we gather here tonight as members of the Anne Arundel County Council, we are mindful of our opportunities to render our service to our fellow citizens in our community, always keeping in mind our values of public service, exerting our efforts in those areas, and on things that impact future generations that can help build confidence in our community. Let's continue to strive to make a better world for those that come behind us. Amen. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Secretary, please read the ethics statement.
The Ethics Commission has asked that I advise you that under certain circumstances, members of the public may qualify as lobbyists when they testify before the County Council. If so, the law requires that certain information be filed with the Ethics Commission. The chair of the Ethics Commission has asked that those who wish to testify in any form review the general information on lobbying sheet located on the Ethics website under Forms and Publications. If there are any questions about lobbying requirements, please contact the Ethics Commission at 410-222-4413.
Thank you. We will now open our invitation to audience. Madam Secretary, do we have any comments or communications on any subject not included in the printed agenda received from members of the public?
We did not receive anything ahead of time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We did not have anyone sign up to speak ahead of time, but if there is anyone here who wishes to speak, you may come up to the table and have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. You may have the floor whenever you're ready. There you go.
All right. Hello, my name is Stephen Waddy. I live at 7968 Heather Miss Drive in Severn, Maryland. I'm back here in the Twilight Zone. Another black man has been killed by police under a black police chief. It's election season, and the Capital Gazette gave us nothing but pure police stenography describing how the man was killed by these police officers. Another officer, as reported by the Capital Gazette, was allowed to retire despite committing mass sexual misconduct while on duty. I'm sure the Capital Gazette paid a hefty price to the county to get those documents regarding the sexual misconduct. I hear more than $60,000 it cost. How many more black men have to die under this police chief before she is fired? How many more black women have to be harassed by police officers during traffic stops before you all stop funding the traffic enforcement that is producing fear and deadly interactions with these officers? How many more? How many more? 1 more? 2 more? When I talk with my son about it, how many more? I have to explain to him whether or not this is a black man or a white man that was killed by police officers in Harwood, a place where I've been to down there. And that's my question. That's how many more? If you become county executive, how many will be killed? And what will you say? That's the question. Jansen Evelyn's great. It's not his responsibility to hold these police officers accountable. It's the state's attorney. Where is she? And we know who she is and what party she's in. So it's not about Democrat or Republican, is it? As we look at the dais. It's not. There's an agreement. Yes, there's an agreement. And it's election season. And a group of people have to pay for it with their blood and their respect. They have to be humiliated. They have to be treated with ultimate cruelty. I hope you won't be sending any migrants to Massachusetts. I hope you won't be keeping black people out of
Mr. Waddy, your
park
2 minutes have expired.
or
Please
doing whatever
conclude your
other
remarks.
cruel actions your party has engaged in while you all are seeking office. Thank you.
Seeing no additional movement in the audience, the invitation to audience is now closed. Is there any item any council member would like to place on the agenda this evening? All right, hearing none, may I have a motion that the partial reading of any bill, resolution, amendment to a bill or resolution, or minutes constitutes the reading of the whole?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Allison Pickard.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Madam Secretary, please read the minutes of September 6th, 2022.
The meeting was called to order by Chair Rodvian at 7 p.m. and opened with the invocation given by Mr. Volke and was followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. The meeting was held in the County Council Chambers, Arundel Center, Annapolis, Maryland. There were approximately 40 persons in the audience.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 6th, 2022?
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. The minutes of September 6, 2022 stand approved as read. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any bills to be introduced this evening.
Bill number 8522, an ordinance concerning personnel, positions in the classified service, position control, Department of Aging and Disabilities, and Police Department. Bill number 8622, an ordinance concerning purchasing, acquisition of real property by gift. Bill number 8722, an ordinance concerning public works and zoning, small cell systems, and commercial telecommunication facilities on scenic or historic roads. Bill number 8822, an ordinance concerning subdivision and development, BRAC, mixed-use development, applicability.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the titles of any resolutions to be introduced this evening.
Resolution number 4022, resolution approving appointments to the Board of Trustees for the Anne Arundel County Retirement and Pension System. Resolution number 4122, resolution confirming the reappointment of an Anne Arundel County resident to serve on the Spending Affordability Committee. Resolution number 4222, resolution approving the nomination for appointment to the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for Region Planning Area Number 2. Resolution number 4322, resolution approving the nominations for appointment to the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for Region Planning Area Number 4. Resolution number 4422, resolution expressing the need for land located in Edgewater, Maryland, and owned by the Anne Arundel County Board of Education to be utilized for construction of the Woodland Beach Volunteer Fire Department.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 71-22 as amended.
Bill number 7122, an ordinance concerning zoning, critical area overlay, growth allocation.
Thank you. This is an administration bill. Mr. Barron, you and your team have the floor when you are ready.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, members of the County Council. We've discussed 7122 a few times. I think the first time we discussed it was back at the July work session. 7122, to remind everybody, provides an avenue for certain properties to be redeveloped. This bill will provide an opportunity for limited development area, or LDA, to undergo the growth allocation process to change their classification to IDA. There are a number of existing commercial uses, marinas, et cetera, that were designated as LDA, even though from a development standpoint, they meet the standards of an IDA designated property. Due to coverage limitations of the LDA designation, many of these properties are prevented from redevelopment to perform improvements to existing uses. This bill will allow these properties to pursue a change in designation through the growth allocation process. You may recall the last meeting we amended the bill to clarify that it applies to non-residential property and zoning districts, as well as to correct a numbering error. I now realize I did not introduce the folks at the table. I know you all know them, but I have Ms. Krinitz from OPZ and Ms. Kenny from the Office of Law. We're happy to answer any questions, and we hope you'll pass this bill tonight.
Thank you. I see Ms. Rhodes there too.
Oh, sorry. And our Deputy CAO for Land Use, Ms. Laurie Rhodes.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions from the council? All right, seeing none, we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 71-22 as amended. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
Yes, Madam Chair, we did receive one submission ahead of time that went to the entire council. It's included in the summary that's posted online, and it will be added to the record.
Thank you. If there is any, oh, sorry. We did not have anyone who signed up to testify ahead of time, but if there is anyone here who wishes to speak, you may come down to the table at this time, have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. You will have 2 minutes. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on Bill number 71-22 as amended is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 71-22 as amended.
Bill number 7122, an ordinance concerning zoning, critical area overlay, growth allocation.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on Bill number 71-22 as amended.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Bill number 7122 has been passed.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of Bill number 73-22 as amended.
Bill number 7322, an ordinance concerning subdivision and development and zoning cluster development.
Ms. Fiedler, you are the lead sponsor on this bill. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Fiedler, District 5. The bill is pretty simple. We've discussed it at the previous work session and previous council meeting. The bill expands the definition of cluster development and adds some building criteria. There will be 2 amendments offered at the appropriate time.
Mr. Barron, if you would like to respond.
Thanks, Madam Chair. I have Ms. Lori Rhodes, our Deputy CAO for Land Use, Ms. Kelly Kenny from the Office of Law at the table, as well as Ms. Lynn Miller from OPZ's here as well in the audience, and we can bring her up if needed. I think we've discussed this bill at length. The administration is comfortable with the bill as drafted, and I know there's more amendments, and we'll comment on them at the appropriate time.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the council before we move into the public hearing? All right, seeing none, we will now open the public hearing on Bill number 73-22 as amended. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
Yes, Madam Chair. 1 was received ahead of time that went to the whole council. It is included in the summary that's posted online and will be added to the record.
Thank you. We did not have anyone sign up to speak this evening, but if there is anyone here who wishes to speak on this bill, you may come up to the table and have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. And you may come on down. I see a couple folks who would like to speak on this bill this evening. And Ms. Leahy, because I know your name, you may go first.
Thank you, Ms. Radvian. I testify on behalf of the Greater Severna Park Council. My name is Amy Leahy. I'm Vice President of Public Affairs, which is, as GSPC is an umbrella organization of almost 60 homeowners as homeowners associations in Severna Park. Thank you for the opportunity to address the council tonight in support of the amended Bill 7322 regarding cluster zoning, which has been a great concern to Severna Park area for many years, as well as other parts of the county. I might add northern Anne Arundel County and western Anne Arundel County are all having issues with the cluster zoning as the way the bill is written right now and the way the planning and zoning allows this to be moved forward. So the legislation that originally approved cluster zoning was intended to preserve natural features of the land while allowing for smaller lot sizes. Another provision was that the development would mesh with the surrounding neighborhoods and not look out of place, and that natural buffers were to be provided to the existing neighborhoods. This bill updates the definition of the cluster development, and it also details the expectation that lot size variation is expected to be concentrated and that open space use includes recreation. Additionally, the amended bill removes easements on the residential lots that restrict or substantially restrict the use of the building envelope. This would include any stormwater infiltration devices and conservation easements, that sort of thing. Of equal importance, the definition is deleted from Article 18, zoning, and is placed in Article 17, subdivision and development, where it properly aligns with the code provisions. Finally, the additional language added to Section 17-3-502B, which already addresses cluster development, makes clear the county's intent to incorporate best practices in maximizing and providing landscaping, screening, and buffer areas for the environmental protection and additional benefits like noise reduction and improved infiltration near the localized higher density development. We ask that you approve this bill, and I know there are amendments coming forward, so we just ask that you consider this. Thank you.
Thank you. And welcome. I apologize, I don't know your name, but I will know it soon. So please introduce yourself, and you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Kate Fox. I live at 3495 Olympia Road in Davidsonville. I am chair of the board of Growth Action Network, and I'm speaking on behalf of Growth Action Network tonight. We would like you all to know that we wholeheartedly support this bill. We think it's a very helpful clarifying of the definition of the purpose of cluster development, which is to preserve and protect natural features, conserve the forest, provide and space for passive and active recreation, and integrate environmental site design without increasing the overall density. We have been concerned for a long time about the possible loopholes in the code for cluster development, and we're very happy to see this clarifying definition. And we ask you to support the bill, and we hope that the next council will pass even more clarifying legislation for cluster development so that cluster development is used for the purpose it was intended initially. Thank you for allowing me to testify tonight.
Thank you. And now I'm embarrassed because I know you by many messages and testimony, but didn't recognize you by face. So thank you. You are both dismissed from the panel. All right. If there's anyone else here who wishes to testify, you may come on down to the table at this time. All right. Seeing no additional movement in the audience, the public hearing on bill number 73-22 as amended is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of bill number 73-22 as amended.
Bill number 7322, an ordinance concerning subdivision and development and zoning cluster development.
Thank you. And we have 2 amendments this evening. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 2.
Amendment number 2. This amendment adds a grandfathering provision for applications for cluster development filed before the effective date of the bill.
Thank you. Ms. Pickard, this is your amendment. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Allison Pickard, District 2. This is a pretty basic amendment. This council has used grandfathering provisions in most of our land use bills to date. You know, we've sort of set a standard operating procedure that when we change the code, the land use code, we don't want to catch up projects that are almost all the way through the process and change the rules. So I ask for your support on the amendment, and I make a motion to adopt the amendment.
Is there a second?
Second, Councilman Peruski.
Thank you. Mr. Barron, would you like to comment on amendment number 2?
I think Councilwoman Pickard described the amendment very accurately and is correct that the council's policy has been to include grandfathering provisions. Or standard operating procedure maybe is better.
Thank you. Any additional questions or comments on amendment number 2? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 2.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 2 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read amendment number 3.
Amendment number 3. This amendment specifies the size of the landscape screening and buffer areas required along adjacent non-local roads and adjoining properties that are not a part of the cluster development.
Thank you. Ms. Fiedler, this is your amendment. You may have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Amanda Fiedler, District 5. So this amendment came out of some feedback from stakeholders, both on the environmental side and development side, wanting clarification on exactly what sufficient screening is. Because when you have something so generalized in terminology, it could mean to one OPZ administrator, 5 feet, or it could mean 50 feet. So I felt it really necessary to pinpoint to make sure it captures the intent. The use of 25 feet in the amendment is actually pulled from the landscape manual. not referenced directly, because I think that there's some growth for, or some need to update the landscape manual in the future, not for this council, obviously. And then finally, the language with the excluding local roads and adjoining properties, it wasn't clear the way that that portion of the bill was worded, if local roads were excluded and adjoining properties, or just one. So we reconfigured that paragraph to make more sense. And I move the amendment forward.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second, Councilman Prisky.
Thank you. Mr. Barron, does the administration have any thoughts on this amendment?
I think it was described very well by Councilman Fiedler. We have no opposition.
All right, thank you. Let's see, is there any additional discussion, any additional questions? All right, in that case, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on amendment number 3.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Amendment number 3 has been adopted.
Thank you. Bill number 73-22, as amended, will be heard on Monday, October 3rd, 2022. Moving on to our resolutions. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 34-22.
Resolution number 3422, resolution confirming the appointment of a resident of the county to serve on the Pension Oversight Commission for Anne Arundel County.
Mr. Barron, this is an administration resolution. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sticking with me is Ms. Kenny, and she'll be here for the rest of the resolutions that we discussed tonight. Resolution 3422 appoints Julius Jones to the Pension Oversight Commission for an initial term expiring July 7th, 2026. He has had a distinguished career as a public servant. He currently works as an executive officer in the Office of the Chief Administrative Officer at the Federal Emergency Management Agency. He's currently worked there for over 13 years. He resides in Councilwoman Lacey's district. You should have his resume. I know the gentleman. He's a great guy and will be an excellent addition to our Pension Oversight Commission. Hope you will pass him tonight.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, we will now open the public hearing on resolution number 34-22. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
We did not receive anything ahead of time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. If there is anyone who wishes to speak at this time, you may come up to the table and have a seat. We did not have anyone sign up ahead of time. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on resolution number 34-22 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 34-22.
Resolution number 3422, resolution confirming the appointment of a resident of the county to serve on the Pension Oversight Commission for Anne Arundel County.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 34-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 3422 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 35-22.
Resolution number 3522, resolution appointing members to the Anne Arundel County Adult Public Guardianship Review Board.
Thank you. This is another administration resolution. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. 3522 reappoints Carol Allison and Julian Provin to the Adult Public Guardianship Review Board for a 3-year term expiring July 7th, 2025. Membership requirements for the Adult Public Guardianship Review Board are stipulated under state code and require that specific seats on the board be allocated to professionals from certain enumerated fields. The 2 seats being appointed must be filled by a representative of a local department and a professional in the field of disabilities. Ms. Allison is a representative of a local Department of Social Services, specifically Anne Arundel County, where she works as an adult services supervisor. Ms. Provin is a professional within the field of disabilities. She currently serves as Vice President and Chief Operating Officer of Bello Matri, a nonprofit based out of the county that provide services to children and adults with cognitive and physical disabilities. Please appoint these two wonderful people.
Thank you. We will now open, any questions before we go into the public hearing? All right, no lights. So we will now open the public hearing on resolution number 35-22. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
We did not receive anything ahead of time, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We also did not have anyone sign up to testify ahead of time, but if there is anyone here who wishes to speak, you may come up to the table at this time. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. You will have 2 minutes. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on resolution number 35-22 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 35-22.
Resolution number 3522, resolution reappointing members to the Anne Arundel County Adult Public Guardianship Review Board.
Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 35-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Rodvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 3522 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 36-22.
Resolution number 3622, resolution confirming the appointment of the Executive Director of the Police Accountability Board.
And this is another administration resolution. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Resolution 3622 appoints Jensen Evelyn as the Executive Director of the Police Accountability Board. The Executive Director position oversees the staff assigned to the board and serves a critical role ensuring that the Police Accountability Board properly handles complaints as well as analyzing police data to make recommendations to law enforcement agencies in the county on policy changes. This council added a requirement that the Executive Director be an attorney with at least 3 years of relevant experience. It was a great amendment the administration supported. The county executive took considerable time reviewing applications for the Executive Director position. The process the county executive laid out for the selection included council participation. Thank you, Madam Chair and Ms. Fiedler, for joining us as we reviewed applicants. It also included a number of members from the community, including representatives from the Caucus of African American Leaders, the United Black Clergy, our Immigrant Affairs Commission, and the FOP, as well as executive staff from the county and the city of Annapolis. Out of the process, it was clear that the nominee before you, Mr. Evelyn, is the right person for the job. He is an attorney with over 14 years experience practicing law. Until August of 2021, Mr. Evelyn served as Assistant Chief Administrative Officer in Howard County. In this role, Mr. Evelyn dealt extensively with employment matters. He functioned as the Personnel Officer Designee, conducting administrative hearings and issuing findings of facts and conclusions on employee disciplinary actions and appeals from terminations. In this position, Mr. Evelyn also served as Howard County's acting human rights administrator. Prior to his assistant CAO role in Howard County, Mr. Evelyn served as the assistant county solicitor for Howard County, where he served as the reviewing attorney for labor negotiations and represented Howard County in cases of employment discrimination. In this capacity, he also advised the Howard County Police Department's Internal Affairs Division and prosecuted administrative trial board hearings on behalf of the department. Mr. Evelyn's experience also includes 3 years with Prince George's County's Office of Law and another 4 years in private practice. Happy to answer any questions before you. I know Mr. Evelyn has had a chance to sit down with most of you, and I think you have found he's incredibly qualified, and hopefully you will appoint him today.
Thank you. Any questions from my colleagues? I will just say that I think we found the perfect candidate. I'm amazed we got one so perfect, so well done. All right, we will now open the public hearing on resolution number 36-22. Madam Secretary, do we have any testimony received from members of the public?
No, Madam Chair, there was nothing received ahead of time.
Thank you. We didn't have anyone sign up to speak tonight either, but if there is anyone here who wishes to speak, please come up to the table and have a seat. When it is your turn, state your name and address for the record. Remarks will be limited to 2 minutes. Seeing no movement in the audience, the public hearing on resolution number 36-22 is now closed. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 36-22.
Resolution number 3622, resolution confirming the appointment of the Executive Director of the Police Accountability Board.
Any further discussion from my colleagues? Madam Secretary, please call the roll on number 36, resolution 3622.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 3622 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 40-22.
Resolution number 4022, resolution approving appointments to the Board of Trustees for Anne Arundel County Retirement and Pension System.
Once again, this is an administration resolution. Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is another appointment resolution. We are appointing Ms. Mary Catherine Schulich, who did one term as one of the 3 trustees, and Mr. Alan Hyatt, who has completed a term as one of the trustees. We are reappointing them. Please pass this today.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 40-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard. Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 4022 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 41-22.
Resolution number 4122, resolution confirming the reappointment of an Anne Arundel County resident to serve on the Spending Affordability Committee.
Mr. Barron, again, this is an administration resolution. You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This reappoints the current member from District 3, Ms. Deborah Ritchie.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the council? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 41-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 4122 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 42-22.
Resolution number 4222, resolution approving the nomination for appointment to the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for Region Planning Area Number 2.
Thank you. Mr. Barron, once again, you have the floor.
Thank you. Once again, oh no, sorry, this is not a reappointment, sorry. We are appointing for Region 2, and I'm sorry, hold on, Mr. Chad Jones to serve. Please pass this resolution today.
Any questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 42-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard.
Aye.
Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 4222 has been adopted.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, please read the title of resolution number 43-22.
Resolution number 4322, resolution approving the nominations for appointment to the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for Region Planning Area Number 4.
Once again, Mr. Barron, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is to appoint Ms. Amy Beal and Ms. Lori Can to serve on the Stakeholder Advisory Committee for District 4. Please pass this tonight.
Thank you. Any questions from my colleagues? Seeing no red lights, Madam Secretary, please call the roll on resolution number 43-22.
Mr. Pruski.
Aye.
Ms. Fiedler.
Aye.
Ms. Hare.
Aye.
Ms. Lacy.
Aye.
Ms. Pickard. Mr. Volkey.
Aye.
Ms. Radvian.
Aye.
7 in the affirmative, none in the negative. Resolution number 4322 has been adopted.
Thank you. At this time, I will ask my colleagues if there is any other business to be brought before the County Council at this time. Seeing no lights, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, Allison Pickard.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Our meeting is adjourned. The County Council will meet on October 3rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. Please note that this is an hour before our usual meeting time, when we will sit as the Board of Health before our legislative meeting. Have a good night.